Welcome to season 2 of the Energy Upgrade podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, master biohacker and successful entrepreneur. In season 1 of the Energy Upgrade, you got to have a taste for my obsession in all things health, energy, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and biohacking, or how to take radical responsibility in living a life by design. As a certified health coach, integrated health practitioner, kinesiologist, and seasoned entrepreneur who built and sold a 7-figure business, I want to dive deeper in this season 2. After healing myself from burnout, from my health falling apart, my hormones leaving my body, I'm here to share everything I wish someone had told me. Every day, I have the incredible opportunity to be mentoring women and supporting them in becoming true magnetic energy bombs. I'm helping them remember who they were all along. It's so powerful that I want to take you in on the journey, almost as if you were a fly on the wall. You'll find that I'm not your typical health coach, and I'm not your typical business coach either. I'm somewhere in between with a lot of spirituality sprinkled in there. This podcast is a sacred place where I come and share with you things that will bring you a high return on investment, because yes, I'm all about ROI. Life goes fast, and if I can show you a shortcut or two, I'll have succeeded at bringing you value. Thank you for being here. Let's go.
Your time is now. Your energy is your life force. You want to be able to magnetize your wildest dreams. A liver detox is the fastest way to start healing. You can and you will.
Welcome back to another episode of the Energy Upgrade. This is your host, Vanessa Grutman, and today I'm so happy to be welcoming a wonderful woman, Jaime Damak. Thank you so much for being here, Jaime, with me today.
I am so happy and excited.
Yay! So, Jaime, we've had the absolute pleasure of working together for the past 6 months. Actually, we just finished. You graduated 2 days ago, so this is fresh. You are a pioneer in the world of blogging. You were one of the first and still are a blogger. You started 13 years ago in Quebec with a blog called Je suis une maman. And so you've been pioneering this world of being able to actually make a living from being a blogger. So that's exceptional. And now you've opened up and have become a coach to also online female entrepreneurs, but also you have experienced quite a transformation on the personal side. And so therefore you've opened up also in helping other women, prioritizing themselves, healing themselves, and just growing, rising, right? So why don't we start by you telling us a bit about your story, like this whole blogging thing, how it started. And yeah, just like tell us more about you.
My gosh, I'm listening to you speak. I'm like, is that all me?
Yes, it's you.
Kind of, it's amazing. Beyond grateful. So I always knew that I wanted kids, Vanessa, but in my life, kids, I had my daughter. She was a surprise. It wasn't a planned pregnancy. Let's put it that way. And so I had just finished my bachelor's degree in marketing, starting a new family. And when I went back to work as a full-time working mom with my kids, and I had my son, I knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and it was just a calling I had. So I had this chat with my husband, and I'm like, are we able to make this work? I really have this calling of coming home and being with them. And he said yes. So we made it work. I came back home. I actually started a daycare with my mom. So my mom is English. English is my first language. And we started a pre-K to teach kids in Quebec how to speak English. So we did this for a few years. But then I was like I missed talking with adults. I missed going out of the home and like connecting with other women. And when I had my kids, I had Emma, I was 23, Philip at 25. I was young. I had no friends with kids. So this whole motherhood thing was kind of tough. And I spoke with my husband. I'm like, what could I do? Like, there's just something missing in my life. And he's like, why don't you start a blog? And I'm like, a blog? Like, what's a blog? So he explains it to me. And I'm like, this is interesting. I could maybe create it myself, stay in the marketing field. Like it was at the time where things were going more online. I'm like, hey, this can be like a project while the kids sleep. I can just work and see where this takes me. So it was really just a part-time thing for fun during the afternoon. So I started my blog, I got my ideas, I just started writing, and it really just took off. And the only thing my husband had mentioned, he's like, how about you have enough traffic in a year so it pays for the expenses? Because there's expenses related to a blog. I'm like, you have a deal. But then after 11 months, I got reached out by a huge company saying, like, we want to pay you to write content. And I was like, you want to pay me to create content? Like it was complete, like I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And so it just took off. And after about 2 years, I said to my mom, I love what I'm doing and I can actually make money and be home with my kids full time. It's like a win-win. I'm like, do you want to take the daycare to your house? And I want to fully commit. I want to go all in. And I haven't looked back. It's been 14 years this year.
Oh my gosh, I love this story so much. And that was really my intention for bringing you on today is to, if we can inspire, a woman or two to just really chase their dreams and not being scared of looking under the hood of healing and transforming. And maybe we can go there next because here you are. You've created this beautiful platform. You have like how many people on Facebook? Like 87,000 or something like that. And you have like incredible traffic on your website. So like everything is there. But there was something that, when you first came to me, like you were just like itching. There was something inside of you that you wanted to explore. There was something inside of you that you knew needed to be healed, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's I would say that the past 2 years have been transformative years in my life because if you're an entrepreneur out there, you know it. Like you work 50, 60 hours a week. It's like and I say back in the day because I've changed my ways, but it was like hustle, 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 go, go, go. But at the same time, I had chosen to be a full-time mom. So I was on every committee at school, volunteering all the time. My kids didn't go to child daycare. They were with me on days off during the summer. So I was like going full speed ahead with these two full-time jobs. And after the pandemic, I was like, my gosh, like, why am I so tired? I had just turned 40. People were saying like your 40s are the best years of your life. And I was just like, something's wrong. Like something's off. Like I'm not excited to make dinner anymore. All I want to do is binge Netflix on the weekend in my PJs. This is not Jamie. This is not the girl who loves to do all these projects and travel. And I was like, what's wrong? And I actually went to the doctor. That's the first thing you do usually when you don't feel good. And she ran blood tests and she's like, everything's perfect. You're good. And I'm just like, when your gut tells you something's off, and usually my gut's always right, but I realized that I was running on autopilot for so many years, and I had been Jamie the mom, Jamie the blogger, Jamie the entrepreneur, Jamie the wife, Jamie the friend, Jamie, oh yes, I'll be there to help you. But I completely forgot about me, Jamie. Like, what do I like? What do I want? How do I feel? But it's that feeling of I don't recognize myself anymore. Who am I? And so I decided to start like digging, Vanessa. And it started with my naturopath, and she was giving me like things to think about and things to try. And I discovered you on Instagram. And oddly enough, I'm someone that I don't trust easily. And in the same week, two people in my world that don't know each other, that have nothing to do with each other, both talked about you. I'm like, well, who's this Vanessa? So I followed you on Instagram and started listening to your stories, and you started talking about a liver detox. And I was like, a liver detox? And at the same time, I had just finished reading the book Year of the Yes by Shonda Rhimes. And I had been impressed with like her saying, you know what, for a year, I'm going to go all in and say yes to things I would have never said yes to. And that kind of like stuck in my head. And at one point I said to my husband, I'm like, I think I'm going to try this liver detox thing. And when I purchased the detox and we had chatted a bit in DMs, I started saying, well, it's not going to work. I'll never be able to go 7 days without eating bread or rice, or like I can
I
do the
remember your burger buns. You were so worried about that.
yes. So I was like, oh, I can do the sugar, I can do the alcohol, the coffee, but like the carbs. And so I actually bought the detox saying to myself, Jamie, do 2, 3 days. I'll be proud of you. Like whatever you do. I knew I wasn't going to finish it when I bought it. And I was just like, but that's like, I knew. And so I bought the detox and I did it, but I actually completed it. And I was in inner shock that I was able to do it for 7 days and to cut out different food groups from my diet. And my kids were like, you're crazy. My husband was like, you're kind of nuts. Like, you don't have to do this. And just like FYI, my husband has done it twice since. So
Yes. Everybody in your family is on it now.
yes. But that was like the thing that like almost like, like I started to see the light after doing that detox.
Yeah.
It's like I knew something was off, and I digging and then doing that just gave me a moment to stop. And then I went and did acupuncture. Everything I said I would never do in life, I did all in the past year. And these have all been things that have helped me like reconnect, like really reconnect with who I am. And I had completely forgotten who I was. Kind of gets me emotional. I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps.
Yeah. And gosh, after that, it's just been a snowball, right? You went all in at exploring and peeling back the layers. Um, what's the one thing, or I mean, I guess we could take this in a million directions, but once you started really looking under the hood, what came up for you?
Oh goodness, that's like a loaded question. Um, all my life, and I don't mean this in like a wrong way for the people who've been in my life and who have like loved me and supported me, but I always felt like I was in it alone, like and I guess when you open the hood and you start unpeeling the layers and like looking like in your past and things that have happened, I realized that I had put beliefs in my mind, or I believed things that were actually untrue. And these beliefs I had were actually not helping me. They weren't serving me today as a 44-year-old woman, mom of 2 young adults. It was like if I was seeing all these things and it was overwhelming. Just to give you an example, I had started reading a book a few years ago and I had to shut it because I couldn't read the words. Like I started to read the book and it just like, I couldn't. And now all these months later, I was able to read the book because it's like if I had the space and I was okay to read the words that were in that book. So
That were triggering you probably, right?
yes. So it's all these little triggers that I decided to attack them one by one, because every time I went into an uncomfortable space, whether it's with things that happened in my childhood or in my adolescence or in my young adulthood, every time it was really hard and I uncovered something, afterwards it was just like, oh my gosh, it was relief, it was
Yeah,
understanding, it was
liberation.
letting go, it was giving myself grace, it was eh, there, like it's hard to find the words of how it just helped me really understand who I am today and um who Jamie is. Like I had like I know who she is, and like even now I'm making decisions that I wouldn't have been able to make 6, 12 months ago, and I'm okay. Like I'm okay in the unknown. A year ago I would have been having an anxiety and a panic attack.
Mhm.
I've made peace with my past and my childhood, and even things I thought in my head, oh, that's fine. Like it happened and it's good, to realize that no, like I still have to deal with those issues and really deal with them, to let them go. And now I'm so much more at peace. And I find, Vanessa, that the work I'm doing on myself, like it affects everybody around me,
Yeah,
like
the
my
ripple
kids
effect.
and my relationships and even my business. Like we work together. And I remember at one moment you said something to me and you really triggered me. And it's true, like when we finished our call, like I even told my husband, I'm like, my gosh, Vanessa said this to me. I can't believe she had the nerve like to say this to me. And like I slept on it. And the next day I'm like, oh my goodness, Vanessa was right. Um, and it's important to be able to like tell it like it is, with love and with empathy. But these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just helped me. I just was able to really like find my 2 feet, stand on them for, I guess, maybe the first time ever, with confidence,
Mhm.
knowing that like I have worth and I have a place here and I have something to say. Um, so yeah, I'm
Oh,
I'm rambling, sorry.
no, no, this is so important. And it just makes me think, that's why this program that you just completed, Fun Biohacker, is just, I always say it's not your typical business coaching program. It's not your typical health coaching or a spiritual or energy, because it's all of it. And to me, the person now, how you show up in your business, it's just so dramatically different from even just the person you were 6 months ago, because I've seen you do the work. I've seen you shed the tears. I've seen you really feel and contemplate and ask yourself, what does this mean to me? Do I want to go there? How does this feel? Like really ask the questions that we haven't been taught to pause and check in with our body. We haven't been taught to, or shown by our mothers, that we actually should ask ourselves, does this feel right? Do I want to do this? Because when we're an entrepreneur and when we're putting a new business into the world, I always say this is for life. We're not doing this just like to bring in some quick cash for the next 2 months. Like, that's not what we're doing this. If you're putting this business into the world, and that's why you were so called into the coaching realm, it's to have an impact. It's to share your gifts. It's to share all the hardships, right? And we've talked about this so much, you and I, like all the hardships that you've overcome. They happened for you and not to you. And being able to actually see that and think, if I was able to overcome it, if I figured out solutions to get myself out of this, that means I can teach this to others. That means I have something to share to the world, because there's other people that are suffering in silence like you were. Right? So it's just so profound when you start doing this work well. Now, does it happen overnight in like 2 weeks and you start making $1 million? It doesn't. Right? And that's frustrating too, especially when you come from the world of hustling, which is 100% where I come from as well. And patience is still a trigger for me. Well, my next free event is coming up. It's called High Achiever. Yes, because I'm here to tell you that you can be a high achieving woman. You can rise, you can access your highest potential without burning out. Now, I want to tell you about the 5 pillars that have helped me become a high achiever of the new world, like I call it. A woman with high standards dialed into her heart and soul to reach new levels of success and energy. This opportunity to join me live for this high proximity event is going to be so unique. It'll start on April 29th and we will go for 5 days. Now, what I'm doing different this time is when you are signing up, you're also going to unlock 3 bonus days. So really, we're going to have 8 days together. And those bonus days are actually going to be really around the womanhood, the woman, the feminine energy, and how we can really become a high achiever but also become a fully rounded woman, mom, partner, friend, mentor that is grounded in her truth and magic to contribute to the well-being of not only your life, your family, but your entire community. Now, this event, I tell you, is going to tell you how to get high on life, because to me, being a high achieving woman is all about that. It's going to be fabulous conversations, and I tell you, it'll help you redefine what healthy success actually means. I hope you will join me for this event. Again, April 29th to May 3rd with 3 bonus days. It's completely free. I'll put the link in the show note. Don't miss this opportunity to spend time with me and the community of women that will show up for themselves. I hope to see you there. But I'd love to hear you about this conviction now that you have, this certainty that you have that, what you've put in place, this new coaching business and how you've been helping women in their businesses, in their personal life, how it's actually you doing that is also healing you at the same time. I'd love to hear you about your conviction about how like you feel like you're on the right path now, finally.
Um, I guess I never really stopped and checked in with myself. Like I would check in with my family and my kids, and even my business side of things. Like, okay, like I have a website and I'm an online creator and I love it. But it came to a point where I was like, what do I want next? Like my kids are getting older, I have more time. Like, what do I want to leave in this world? And I love my website and I love my community, and I'm so grateful that I keep on doing this after all these years. But it's like if I had a calling in me when I rediscovered myself, I'm like, oh my goodness, how many moms out there are going through the exact same thing and feel alone? And I would even push it to say, Vanessa, it took me a long time to say yes to your program because I was programmed in my head to not trust anyone and to do everything on my own. And if I want to succeed, it's me, myself, and I, and you got to be careful and not share your secrets and your dreams. And so I came from a place where I had never asked for help, or if I had asked for help in the past, I would have got burned, or like it wasn't like a
Yeah.
good experience. So I had a hard time understanding the fact that someone actually wanted to walk beside me. And if I actually was going to take and put my hand out there, that someone was actually going to take it lovingly, caring, no judgment. Like for me, it was just like I couldn't really understand. And it took me a long time to surrender and to try it. And so that's why when I go back to the year of the yes, I'm like, I'll never know if I don't try and fully commit. And your approach of healing yourself and also healing and working on your business, that spoke to me because I I hadn't done it, and I knew now that if I wanted to keep on in this entrepreneur world, that I had to take care of myself and not just my business. And it was also to take a pause and say, okay, you have this great website, you have this great community. Now what? Yes, you want to continue on doing this, but I have so much more to offer. And people have told me for years, you're always giving us advice. When we call you, you listen to us, whether it's with our business or with our kids. You're always there, and you have this, people always say, like, I don't judge, I just listen. And the question I ask all the time, and I do this with my kids, and I do this with my community and my clients, when they talk to me, I'm like, okay, do you just want me to listen, or do you want me to listen and like share afterwards? Because sometimes you just want someone to listen and to hear you and not have something to say. And they say, oh, we just love when you do that. So all this, like these little nuggets that I had been doing all my life, and then with working with you, I'm like, okay, so maybe I can build something on top of what I've already built, just to be able to connect more, because I love to connect. I love to talk and to just be and listen and help. So I knew that, yes, the blog is interesting, but I need more and I want to do more. And I think that I can do it all. Why not? So that's why there's this new Jaime 2.0. And
Yay!
in French, we say s'assumer. I don't know what the right word is in English, but it's like
Just
I'm
own your
owning.
power. Yeah, owning
Yeah.
it.
Yes. And not being
Yeah.
afraid. And I get that not everyone's going to like what I do, and they're not all going to like what I have to say. And that's okay. There's someone out there to help everybody. But I just know that there's just this calling I have. And in the past 48 hours, it's even become more clear that, like, for those moms out there, like, you have to reconnect with yourself. And it's okay to take the time and to work on you, because you're just going to be so much more open and have so much more to give to everyone around you. And that's like I see it now. So I just want to help others see it too.
Yeah, because when you're taking this time, it feels like you're going backwards, right? When you feel like when you're really doing this healing and you're taking the time to stop and ponder and connect with your body, and even just like meditate, it's so hard at first and it feels like you're going backwards, but really what you're doing is you're just like decluttering, you're opening the way. And at the same time, your soul, your heart inside is doing a happy dance. And therefore, you start, like, without even noticing it, when you do this work and you start connecting back to your soul and your heart and your calling, you start co-creating with the universe right away. And there's like incredible things that start happening, and not just financial. Actually, usually it's not financial at first. It's more, signs, serendipity, people calling you out of the blue, opportunities that you're like, what? Right? But you got to start connecting with your body. You got to stop. You got to ask yourself, what do I want to do? And then the universe is going to be starting to be like, yeah, you're heading in the right direction. Yep. And it's like this little by little, you got to follow the breadcrumbs, right? I always say that. But what I loved about you is that you just at the same time tackled this deep healing. We went and, visited inner child. We did a lot of work. Oh my gosh, so much work. And I have to commend you for doing it, even when it was hard, and showing up also. And in the group, in our weekly master classes, you weren't afraid of showing your emotions and sharing it how it is. And you also opened up so much healing in other women by doing that, right? It's so beautiful. But at the same time, you tackled, okay, this new calling. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Well, how do we do this? Like, what's the brand? How do we call it? How do we launch it? And you started doing launches and master classes. And then you're like, holy cow, I love this. I'm good at this. When's the next one? Like, you went all in, all while you were doing this healing. And I think it's important to say this, because this is an objection I hear a lot from women that are contemplating doing this work. And they're like, well, I just don't have time to start healing myself and pause my life for 6 months. And the truth is, actually, you shouldn't be doing that. It's through living that you heal,
Mm-hmm. And
right?
it's really a process, and it takes time. And I think that we have to just be gentle with ourselves, and like our time together in the program, like, yes, I'm a graduate, but I know that I still have so much to do. And it's odd because sometimes we put goals for ourselves, and then when you don't hit it, you're like, darn. But at the same time, when you step back, okay, well, you didn't maybe get to that goal, but look at everything you accomplished around you. You're not going to meet this goal. You're going to go even further because you did all the work that you did. And I'm just so grateful that I had the courage to say yes, and I had the courage to do the work, and that you were there to guide me and like bring me back, and also like sometimes give me courage when I didn't really realize that I needed it, or I didn't see things. It's nice to have that objective um someone from the outside, but who's there to help. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
important because we're not meant to do life alone. And that's something that it took me 44 years to really understand and realize, because I thought I had to do it on my own. So it's just crazy. And I just want to also say it's never too late. Like when people say, oh, I'm this age, oh, I can't change. It's like, no, like it's never too late to go after a dream or to work on ourselves. Then it's just like, and you see the abundance around you. And I like when you said it's not just like a financial gain. And I think that sometimes something will happen to someone and they're like, like I'm so lucky. No, it's like I see it differently now. It's not luck. Like when you stop and see like around you, it's like, no, I find that I get confirmation of I'm on the right path when the things happen around me. And it's not just financial. It could be I was recently on a work trip and I got to the destination and they gave us this amazing upgrade. Like I would have never even imagined to have even gotten that upgrade. And I remember we chatted and like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm so grateful. Like it took me a minute to realize it. I'm like, okay, like this is like a sign, like keep going. Like this is for you. Enjoy, embrace. And I think it's just so important to have gratitude for it all, even the bad, even those moments, because it brought me to where I'm at today.
Exactly. Those, and I remember telling you this, if you hadn't nailed it the first time. So let's say, your first launch, you do like a 6-figure launch and it's like, okay, well, what's next? It's kind of boring because you already did it, right? Life's not supposed to be like that. It's nice to have a vision and it's nice to kind of know roughly where you're headed, but it's also just okay to flow with it and figure out, okay, you know what? I learned this from this experience. Great. I'm going to get even better next time. And oh, wow, okay, this really worked. This, like, I need to tweak this. People really like that. Okay, I'm going to get even better next time. And it just starts compounding and your confidence starts rising and you start healing even more, because the more you are confident in yourself, the more you're reconnecting with that self-esteem, with that worth, with that inner child, also with your heart. Like it's exponential from that place after what happens in your business. And I'm so excited for you.
And I agree. And it's like an ongoing journey. It's almost once you get a taste of it, it's like you want more. Like I could easily say 3 things that you asked me to do in the past 6 months. And I'm like, I can't believe she's asking me to do that. Like when I go back to the year of the yes, and I did it, I tried, and I was like, holy moly. I'm like,
What
oh
are
my
those
God.
3 things?
When you asked us to go on a manifestation walk, I was like, yeah, this is never gonna happen. And you kept on saying it like manifestation walk. I'm like, this is bananas. And I actually did it. And I was like, oh my goodness. So there was that. Some of the activations you made us do in the group, or on moments like full moon and like to sleep. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is not true. And I'm like, then to live it. And then when you think about it, like, oh, okay, yeah, she was right about that too. So it's just interesting that when you let yourself open to new possibilities and you're willing to try, like, what if it works? I know you like to say that a lot, like, what if? What if I bet on myself? So it's powerful
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. And a lot of the things that you're naming is actually going back to our most raw selves, which is a human being having a human experience on this planet with Mother Nature. We forget that that's a big piece of what we're supposed to be experiencing here, right? It's a bit woo, but it works. And it also and I know it's not the case always, and there's highs and lows in life, and sometimes we are in financial insecurity, and sometimes we are in, we're lacking trust or confidence in ourselves, and that's normal, and that's going to keep showing up, of course. And whether they're tests from the universe or not, it's just the way it is. But when you have the tools to go back to you, when you have the tools to go back to gratitude, when you have the tools to go back to what if and the possibilities and just going back to nature and going back to like less is more, there's this effortless energy that starts to take place, right? And that becomes your thread, right? And if there's one thing I hope that you will keep from the 6 months that we've spent together, it's that. It's like you have built that thread. It's basically your standards are completely different now. Not only have you raised the bar, but it's effortless now. It's not so hard and rooted in like this hustling and doing energy, but there's a lot more being, a lot more space. And that just feels so good.
Yeah, and I add more feeling. Like I can tell when something is like something I would have said yes to 6 months ago, I'll have the strength to say, yeah, no, not going to happen this time around. Like it's just knowing how energy works too, what pulls you, what drains you, what fills you up.
Yeah.
I think that more we're aligned, like as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, like when all that is like you find your harmony. I don't really believe in balance. I don't know if that's wrong to say, but I'm more like harmony because sometimes you're more in one space and it changes with life. But just to feel like, like I am where I'm supposed to be. I don't know where the road is going to take me, but I'm on the right path. And that's like, oh my goodness. It's like, I would have panicked a year ago. I would have been like, oh, help. But I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And the words that come to me, Vanessa, for the past 2 weeks, I see it everywhere. The best is yet to come. And
The
so
best is yet to come. Oh yes. Oh yes. And I know our work is not done. Jamie, you know that, right?
Yes, Vanessa.
But I'm so excited to see, everything that you're going to put out to this world that you're going to be creating, because like now your foundations are just so solid, and it can only go up from here. It really can only do that.
And I think that's key for all us women out there, our foundation. That has to be firm. We have to work on it, and it changes throughout the years and we forget to like check in on it. So you're so right. And thank you so much, Vanessa.
My pleasure. Now, Jamie, where can people find you? Like if we have, and you're in both you're like a completely bilingual. So you're both in the Francophone and Anglophone space. So
Yes.
that's exciting.
So
where can people find you?
So very easy on Instagram. My English/bilingual account is Jaime Damak. That's all more me, my entrepreneur life. And then for my blog, Je suis une maman. That's my French Instagram. And there you have all my links to my blog and my Facebook page. So yeah, you can find me there and I'd be more than happy to chat and connect with all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will be putting those links in the show notes. And in closing, if you are listening to this and if you have all the fields listening to it, that means there is something inside of you that's ready to be awakened, ready to be rediscovered. And that's probably your soul, your heart aching, wanting to be seen and felt. And Jamie you've been such a trooper. You've just been all in, and it's just been magnificent to watch you transform truly. Let go, surrender, enjoy the ride. Like you've really been allowing yourself to have these feelings. And it's just been a very humbling experience to walk this path by your side.
I knew you were going to try to make me cry because I was the crier in our group. But the gift I have today, Vanessa, is the fact that we're doing this, and I'll always have this conversation to go back on and to listen to and to fill me with hope. And so much gratefulness. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, my dear. Oh, talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody, for listening. She's wiping her tears and mine. You can see how, this is why I do what I do. It's for these transformations. It's for the love. It's for holding you. It's for, reigniting that fire, that light inside of you that you're ready to shine so bright in this world. So you go, girl. I can't wait to see you there. The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grutman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.